Tonight on Top Gear, choosing from 3 desirable executive saloons. The confusion at the pumps over super unleaded petrol. And a not-so-humble Ford Sierra with 500 horsepower to play with. Hello and welcome to this week's Top Gear. Back from Frankfurt, we're now on our motorway bridge on the M1, just a few miles north of London. At the moment the traffic is moving fairly freely, but our motorways are some of the most congested in Europe. Whatever happens in terms of new roads, we're always going to have, of course, those horrendous style-ups that you can get trapped in seemingly for hours. And that's really why we're here. Look at the latest attempt to build a better motorway jam warning system based on infrared sensors on the bridges. But more of that later. Let's start not with the jams themselves, but with the smooth cars that some executives have the privilege of sitting in when they're trapped in one. And with the advent of the European spirit and the less obvious need to buy British, Chris Goff has been looking at 3 European offerings.
Now, which niche of the executive market does the Alfa 164 Lusso automatic drop into? Well, it's for those with a generous budget at their disposal and a fleet manager who isn't too worried by the prospect of steep depreciation. Perhaps Saab have attracted more executives to their models, but there can't be many middle management transport budgets which will stretch to accommodate this CD version. Maybe it's moved above the market it was originally aimed at. A substantially cheaper choice would be the equivalent model from Lancia's Thema range, but not enough user-choosers exercise their privilege to keep the Lancia importer independent. It's now firmly back under Fiat's wing.
Now, the thing that unites all these cars is money, not what it costs to buy them in the showroom, but what it costs to develop them. Because all 3 cars, plus incidentally the Fiat Chroma, share the same floor pan. The manufacturers got together and they pooled their resources to come up with a new executive car. They'd all put different bodies on and different engines, but they'd share the same floor pan, and that would save them a lot of money in coming out with a new model. Now, this is the latest product of that cooperation. It's the automatic version of the Alfa 164. It's a very important car for the British market because Alfa Romeo have significantly failed in the past to crack the executive fleet sector. If they can't do it with this car, they won't do it at all. And they hope to avenge with this model some of the disappointments of the past. This is a booted version of the familiar Saab 9000 hatchback, and in this form it's a very highly specified and extremely expensive vehicle. It's £28,000 on the road. £1,500 of that is taken up with a very sophisticated sound system that incorporates a CD player. Incidentally, it also occupies the space that would be taken up by the ashtray and cigar lighter, and there's a little discreet sign saying no smoking. That won't impress some executives I know. This is very much the flagship of the Lancia range. I've always called it the Thema, but I'm reliably informed I ought to call it the Tamer. In SE form, it's very well equipped up to the specification of the other 2, and certainly very good value on the road. The only thing you can't get is an automatic gearbox with the turbo. But like the other 2 cars, it's got a 6-year anti-corrosion warranty. Now, while all these cars share the same floor pan and they've all got front-wheel drive, the designers have got very different ideas when it comes to power plants.
The fuel-injected V6 in the Alfa is the most charismatic and the best-looking unit. There's a broad band of tremendous power and torque, and it mates well with the automatic. Saab's 2-litre 16-valve unit goes down the turbo road, but it's a poor match with its automatic. Seems to smother the power and hunts up and down when cruising. At Lancia's heart is another 16-valve 2-litre, but it's got a smaller, higher revving turbo, which gives a wider spread of power. The differences continue when it comes to luggage capacity. The Alfa suffers from a high sill and rather a narrow slot for inserting anything more than the standard Italian briefcase. The Saab's better, with the boot lid lifting well up out of the way, but like the others, it stores its spare wheel under the floor. Saab alone fit a narrow space-saver wheel, but at least that helps give it a much greater boot capacity. The Tamer, for instance, has 18.9 cubic feet, one more than the Alfa, but 5 cubic feet less than the Saab.
The Alfa Romeo betrays the influence of the stylist on the interior much more than the other two. All the minor instruments and controls come together beautifully. It's also fitted with, in the Lusso model, electric rear passenger seats, although I note on this 7,000 mile example one of them already doesn't work. And it also means that the seats can't fold down for extra rear luggage space. Scandinavian design has tended in the past to be rather austere and Spartan, but the interior of this Saab, with its supple Scottish leather and its English walnut, reminds you more of a Victorian gentleman's smoking club than anything. Despite that, it's the most comfortable of the three cars. Inside the Lancia, very Italian in feel, they trim it in Alcantara, a cloth that looks and feels very much like suede. There's lots of room for oddment storage in this car as well, in the door pockets down here, and it's also got the only glove box with space to rest your glasses of executive wine. So the cars are very different under the skin, but what are they like on the road? Let's find out. I've always loved the Alfa V6 unit. It's got a lovely exhaust snarl to it, and despite the automatic gearbox, it hasn't lost that appeal. The handling, well, that's flat and secure, big fat tyres, very high level of adhesion on the road. It's not all sweetness and light though. It's got an over large turning circle, this car, and I find these uniform switches on the panel rather confusing once you're on the move. On the road in the Saab, you're immediately aware that there is still some turbo lag. The classic situation, you come up behind a lorry, you pull out to overtake, put your foot flat on the floor, and there's a heart-stopping instant when it doesn't actually go. And then the turbo comes in and you accelerate through. On its big fat tyres, it's got extremely high levels of road holding and adhesion. In fact, it's the ultimate gentleman's express. In the Lancia, you're immediately aware of the tremendous power and torque from the turbocharged engine. There's less turbo lag than there was in the Saab, but because it's got a manual gearbox and there isn't the cushioning effect of the automatic, it's quite easy to get quite violent wheel spin when pulling away from a T-junction, especially on a wet road. But apart from that, the handling and the tyre adhesion is very high order indeed, certainly well up to the other two cars. It's very, very fast. I mean, it does 140 miles an hour, but if you want to go completely over the top, you can even double your money and buy a Ferrari engined version. So which car to go for? Well, in fact, it's quite a difficult choice for the lucky executive because all three cars have such distinct personalities. The Alfa is undoubtedly the best looking and the best style, but I resent this loss of an inch of headroom that Pininfarina has imposed in order to get those flowing lines. The Saab, well, it's very safe and secure, it feels very well built. And the Lancia, with its immensely powerful engine, represents tremendous appeal for the driver. Which one would I go for? Well, if my company would allow the extra £6,000 on the budget, I'd have to select the Saab.
Right, back from those smooth saloons to the motorway jam warning system. We've come into a field, as you can see, to get away from all that motorway noise. Those infrared sensors on the bridge can detect the speed at which the cars are moving. They pass that information to a central control room, which in turn flashes it to a network of paging stations. In the car, what you've got is a little graphic receiver. In this case, it's fixed. They now have a portable version you can take anywhere. It's got a map of the relevant motorway network, and you drive along with that in standby mode. When the sensors detect that the traffic is slowing down, say 20 or 10 miles an hour, or they've come to a dead halt, the thing buzzes you to attract your attention, then shows you where the problem is occurring. So you can press on if you think it'll clear up, or begin to take avoiding action. That's how it works in theory. Let's give it a whirl in practice. Well, I'm heading north on the M11, ready to turn west on the M25 towards Heathrow. I've got the system on standby. Everything seems clear at the moment. Oh no, there goes an alarm. There is trouble, in fact, up ahead on the M11, but it's north of my junction, so I should be okay. You can see the traffic slowed down to about 20 miles an hour.